If you've ever sat quietly in a room with a gecko enclosure nearby, you know there's a kind of magic in watching them move. Their tiny toes gripping the glass, the slow, deliberate turns of their heads, and those curious eyes scanning their world. It's like a miniature rainforest drama playing out just for you. But here's the thing, your gecko's world is more than just glass, branches, and a heat lamp. It's an ecosystem, and the plants you choose can make the difference between a space that's simply decorated and one that's alive, balanced, and brimming with natural behavior. Think about it. The right plants don't just make your gecko's habitat look stunning, they give them safe hiding spots, shaded retreats, and even tiny microclimates where they can cool off or soak in humidity. In other words, plants aren't just decoration, they're part of your gecko's daily life. And today, I'm going to share my personal top 5 gecko-friendly plants that are not only safe, but thrive in the same kind of environment your gecko calls home. Whether you're new to reptile keeping or a seasoned keeper looking to upgrade your vivarium, these plants will transform your setup into a living, breathing paradise. So let's step inside the enclosure and meet the green companions that will keep your gecko happy, healthy, and right at home. If there were a plant award for sheer adaptability, pothos would win it every time. Known scientifically as Epipremnum aureum, this vine is practically indestructible, which is why it's often the first recommendation for beginner reptile keepers. In a gecko enclosure, pothos becomes more than just a plant, it's a dynamic jungle gym. Its long trailing vines can be guided along branches, allowed to hang down like rainforest curtains, or trained to climb up the enclosure walls. Geckos love weaving through its heart-shaped leaves, finding cover from light or predators, real or imagined. It's also excellent for maintaining humidity because its dense foliage traps moisture. Pothos will happily grow in low to moderate light, making it perfect for enclosures that don't have intense plant lighting. Just remember to let the soil dry slightly between waterings. It doesn't like being soggy. And the best part? You can trim and propagate it endlessly, giving you an endless supply for future enclosures or other parts of your home. When you think of gecko habitats, you might imagine lush tropical plants, but some species, like leopard geckos, thrive in drier, more arid conditions. This is where the snake plant, or Sansevieria trifasciata, truly shines. Its tall, upright leaves add striking vertical lines to an enclosure, almost like natural sculptures. The snake plant is incredibly forgiving, tolerating low-light, irregular watering and fluctuating temperatures. Perfect for the sometimes unpredictable conditions inside a reptile habitat. Its thick leaves don't just look beautiful, they store water, helping it withstand dry spells without drooping or wilting. In a gecko enclosure, snake plants create natural walls for privacy, giving your gecko spaces to hide or rest undisturbed. And because they grow slowly, they won't take over the enclosure or demand frequent pruning. For those who keep day geckos, crested geckos, or other humidity-loving species, bromeliads are like a little gift from the tropics. With their bold, colorful rosettes and unique way of holding water in their central cups, bromeliads add both beauty and function to your gecko's home. That central tank of water is more than decorative. It creates a tiny microhabitat where humidity is naturally maintained, and in some cases it can even serve as a drinking spot for your gecko. Bromeliads love bright, indirect light and consistent moisture, so they work best in enclosures with good lighting and a misting routine. They can be mounted onto branches or nestled into pockets of soil, making them incredibly versatile. And because many species stay compact, they fit perfectly into vertical terrariums where space is at a premium. Watching a gecko crawl across the vibrant leaves of a bromeliad feels like seeing them in their natural rainforest setting. Few plants say rainforest quite like a fern. Whether it's the delicate fronds of a maidenhair or the sturdy foliage of a Boston fern, these plants bring instant lushness to any enclosure. For geckos, ferns provide dense cover that makes them feel secure, a critical part of reducing stress in captivity. Ferns thrive in high humidity, which makes them a perfect match for tropical gecko species. They appreciate consistently moist soil, without becoming waterlogged, and do best with moderate to low light, so they can live happily under canopy plants like pothos. The dense root systems of ferns also help stabilize the substrate, preventing erosion in naturalistic enclosures. Just be aware that ferns can grow fairly fast, so, occasional trimming will keep them from overshadowing smaller plants in the enclosure. If you want a plant that brings beauty and resilience to your gecko's enclosure, the Chinese evergreen, or Aglaonema, is a wonderful choice. With its patterned, often silver-streaked leaves, it adds a touch of elegance to the habitat while asking for very little in return. Chinese evergreens are champions of low-light environments, which is perfect for enclosures that don't have powerful grow lights. They also handle occasional dryness in the soil and can adapt to a range of temperatures. For geckos, the broad leaves create shady nooks and quiet corners where they can retreat during the day. Because the plant grows at a moderate pace, it won't overwhelm the space, and its upright growth habit makes it easy to pair with trailing plants like pothos for a layered natural look. While these 5 plants are my personal favorites for gecko habitats, the most important rule is to match the plant to your gecko's needs. A crested gecko will thrive in a humid, densely planted environment, while a leopard gecko will do better with hardy, drought-tolerant plants like snake plant or haworthia. Always research plant toxicity. What's safe for one reptile may not be safe for another, and keep in mind that even non-toxic plants should be monitored for damage if your gecko likes to nibble. Placement matters too. Tall plants can create shaded retreats, while trailing vines offer climbing routes. Mixing plant types, some for cover, some for climbing, some for visual beauty, will give your gecko a richer and more engaging space. And remember, live plants are more than just pretty scenery. They contribute to better air quality, stabilize humidity, and encourage your gecko to display more natural behaviors. So the next time you look into your gecko's enclosure, imagine it not just as a cage, but as a living, breathing slice of the wild. With the right plants, you can turn it into a safe, vibrant, and enriching world that benefits both your gecko and your own enjoyment. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to subscribe to Botanical Bliss for more nature-inspired tips and care guides, and share this video with a fellow reptile keeper who's ready to bring their geckos home to life. Because a happy gecko is a healthy gecko, and a beautiful habitat makes both of you smile every single day.